Buongiorno. I'm Ron Jonash, and sitting next to me here is Tyler McNally. We're both partners in the Center for Innovation, Excellence, and Leadership, and we are the organization that cooperated with TIS and the Digital Technology Center on the study of innovation climate in South Tyrol, which we are summarizing today. First, as a brief introduction of who we are, IXL Center is a world-leading center of innovation and excellence. We focus on education, consulting, coaching, and leadership. We've conducted over 100 studies focused on regional economic development and the role of innovation in different parts of the world. We've also been working with a global standards board to develop a set of innovation standards that will enable organizations such as TIS to provide even greater support to individuals, to companies, and organizations as they promote innovation in their region. Finally, we're affiliated with the Hult International Business School, which is one of the top international business schools in the world, with campuses where Tyler and I also teach in London, Boston, San Francisco, Shanghai, and Dubai. Because of this experience and perspective, we were asked by TIS last year to conduct a strategic study of the regional innovation climate in the Bolzano, South Tyrol region. This study sought to identify the strengths and weaknesses, as well as the opportunities and challenges that were faced by different organizations trying to support innovation in the region. The specific focus of our work last year was an assessment of the development strategies and the major stakeholders who influence and impact that climate, and assessment of how critical technologies can support the innovation process and the companies involved in that process going forward. Here is a list of the stakeholders and plans that we analyzed. To briefly summarize the study for you, we found that TIS and other organizations involved in Bolzano's regional innovation climate have made great strides over the past few years, both in establishing a sound foundation and providing a much more supportive infrastructure and climate for innovation success in the region. However, we also found that there's need for improvement in order to move to the next step. We found some overlaps and redundancies, which are to be expected when so many organizations are involved, as well as we found some critical gaps as companies try to grow their business in the region. We believe that collaboration among all the stakeholders involved in innovation could and should be improved in order to assure successful execution of the strategies laid out by each one. In terms of success and what is working, we found that the overall combination of innovation plans we assessed do indeed provide both clear and reasonably consistent overall direction to support the continued growth and development of innovative firms and a stronger innovation climate in the region. Secondly, there are a range of stakeholders who have indicated and demonstrated strong support for many of the key needs that will help innovative firms start, grow, and prosper in the region. We've also found that the region's well positioned to continue to strengthen smaller firms and startups that tend to be focused on a few industries that have a competitive advantage in the region, and where there are some larger firms who could serve as anchors for growth and innovation in the South Tyrol. While the past has been reasonably comfortable for these industries and clusters of firms, resulting in a relatively high standard of living in the region, competition is growing, technology is changing, and the future is far less certain. This is particularly critical in economic downturns like the one we're currently going through. In order to face these new challenges and take advantage of the region's competitive position, it will be important to pursue opportunities and needs for both cross-border collaboration and, as we said before, collaboration among the organizations involved within the region. I'd now like to turn it over to Tyler McNally to summarize some of the more detailed findings and conclusions of the study.
Thank you, Ron. We looked at 6 key areas in this analysis. First, we looked at the overall coordination and management of the innovation ecosystem. Second, we looked at the climate and culture for innovation. Third, we looked at business and management support. Fourth, we looked at financing. Fifth, we looked at the administration and regulatory aspects. And sixth, we looked at the incentives for innovation. So to begin with number 1, we looked at the overall coordination and management of the innovation ecosystem. And we found that while the plans that we looked at are aligned, they require more detail to avoid confusion among stakeholders and to ensure that gaps in services are closed, especially those gaps for small enterprises and startups. Number 2, the climate and culture for innovation. We found that while there are a large number of micro businesses in the region, cultural barriers may discourage their growth or the creation of new firms. Number 3, we looked at business and management support, and we found that there's more integration and collaboration among the many organizations is going to be needed to ensure that support is provided effectively and efficiently to help launch or grow businesses. A good example of this cooperation is the SPICE project, where TIS Digital Technologies, HDS, and Formazione Continua joined forces to launch an initiative that aimed at transferring know-how to small and micro businesses and to help them effectively improve their use of technology, especially through free software. With number 4, financing, we found that while multiple options exist, access is sometimes difficult. And it often takes too long, especially in the case of public co-funding. It makes it too uncertain for businesses, particularly smaller businesses, to grow and develop. Number 5, administration regulations. We found that improving bureaucratic and regulatory procedures could increase the number and rate of success for local entrepreneurs. And finally, number 6, the incentives for innovation. We found that while all stakeholders have clearly communicated the importance of innovation, there is a need to ensure that the incentives for these stakeholders are integrated and aligned to better institutionalize the innovation focus and drive results.
Thank you, Tyler. What I'd like to do now is just quickly summarize the 3 principal recommendations that have come out of this report. First, we're recommending that you conduct a follow-on project to validate the findings, to test the recommendations with key stakeholders, and to shift towards implementation and rollout of these recommendations. Second is to look for quick wins, to encourage collaboration, which we've talked about throughout this presentation, across the key stakeholders and their innovation plans and strategies. And third is to continue to work to build consensus and alignment for more substantial incentives that will help South Tyrol and its company over the medium and longer term as technologies continue to change and competition increases. In conclusion, we'd like to thank TIS and the Digital Technologies Department, especially Mario and Massimo who are with you, for sharing their insights with us. And thanks to all of you for the opportunity to share a summary of our findings and the work we did. We hope that they were relevant and useful.
Thank you very much.